I'm gonna start this off with all praise to the Most High Yah, the Son of Christ, Yeshua, the King of Kings. I wanted to go into this discussion about let me just make sure my whatchamacallit is up. Oh, just a minute. I don't know why I can't. Okay. Looking for something to put up real quick. Okay. I'll put this up. Okay, yeah, so I wanted to get into the discussion about the hip hop, the underground, and the so-called mainstream music that's going on, and the rivalries and all this disputes and this debates and the continuous ignorance until people are about 50 to 60 years old. That's not really taking the art form that serious to me. Okay, I kind of respect, like I said, because as far as me being underground, I will stay forever in that circuit. Because if I make my music, it should belong to me, number one. Number two, nothing is going to entice me to get out of character, okay? And I consider myself a free man mentally. To a point I can say what I think should be said. Because like I said, there is a creator over everyone, so you have to watch, of course, with the things you say. Depends on if you know, your level of ignorance or intelligence. It's a lot of stupidity that goes on in my hometown, and I think a lot of people not really understanding what's going on, and they keep forgetting the past as if the past doesn't matter or it doesn't have some sort of say-so in the future. In the present, we're forgetting a lot of social behaviors are determined from some of those times in their present right now. We're forgetting that there's a lot of Stockholmness, there's a lot of confused individuals. That just keeps displaying themselves as some sort of someone to listen to or pay attention to. When in fact, reality, they're actually leading a lot of children into destruction. And I'm not saying children, I'm saying teenagers and people in their 20s that grow into their 30s and 40s and still living as if they're teenagers. That's the mindset I'm saying. You have a lot of follow the leaders, and sometimes they confuse themselves with leadership and just neighborhood people that grew up around ignorance and spewing it into the music, and they're misleading a lot of people. Like I said, me, I have done a lot of songs that I have not released because I wanted to be released in the proper way. And like I said, me being the age that I am, it doesn't matter how old you make music. It's what you put into the music um, that determine who you really are. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. You understand? And I learned that a long time ago, to a point where it's how you say things to people that'll give you positive reaction or negative one. Yeah, it's a lot of things that I think we should. I even do it sometimes. I go back to some of my songs from, wow, when did I first start recording actually on the microphone? 97? 96, 97? Yeah, 96, 97, I'm gonna say 97. And it was put out local, of course, through the neighborhood and this and that. But sometimes I even carry some of the stuff that I had and some I actually lost. I'm pissed off with. I did with a lot of local famous people, I'm gonna say it like that. And I lost the information in the files. So um, I go back and I listen to some of the lyrics I say and some of the things I said. I can't believe I said it, out of ignorance. And of course, a lot of people need to get to the point where, who really inspired me to say certain things as I got older was Dead President. Man, it's a lot. There's a lot of people. But that was one person, one group that gave me some sort of inspiration. And it was in school. It was in school because if anyone remember the box, and a lot of videos used to be watched back then. I was in 10th and 11th grade, matter of fact, when Dead Press came out with the song They Schools. And I can't believe they filmed it. And they put it on. Because a teacher was cool at that time. They used to let us watch videos. And that came on. And I really took that song to the heart. They schools ain't teaching that. I was like, this kind of makes sense because I'm sitting here in this classroom. And every 2 days they're going to another subject, right? And there was things about American history. So I took it, watching the video, and I'm paying attention to the class in the school that I'm in. And when you're outside a lot and this and that, you go up around, running around in the streets and this and that when you're young, you don't pay attention to that. You're paying attention to what's going on out in reality. And that connected as reality. So later on as I got, said I started recording and stuff and that. And I didn't get deep into things until around 2001. And like I said, I did my music and this and that. There used to be a DJ around near Gerard. And rest in peace to my homie Andrew. He had passed away. I think it was some years later. it was kind of mysterious to me at some point. They used to call him, he used to call himself DJ Iceberg's son. So he was a real cool individual, you know what I'm saying? He would take some local people from the area where he lived at, although I lived like a good 20 minutes away from him. We used to go out clubbing and this and that, hang with a couple, you know what I'm saying, people. And I was supposed to be, you know, at one point record with him at that time, but I was around my own area doing things with other people. So, yeah, you know, you never really listen. I never really listened to any and everybody. But some of the shit that's just was said, it couldn't relate to me. So I had to stay in my own path, of course, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to mimic nobody else. That's just the way it should have been. So, oh, damn. I'm outside today. You know, and if it was on instrument form, and they would come over and we went to did the little cipher thing. You know what I'm saying? I actually got some from some rappers from DC when they had came down. And they was in Philly because some of them, you know, moved down from that part, came, they moved to Philly. And that's how I kept my, you know what I'm saying? Kept my communication with those type of individuals. So what I'm seeing nowadays is crazy. It's crazy where you got grown people. They damn near 30, 40 years old, right? Now everybody gets in their little disputes. That's everybody. You know what I'm saying? Don't know the race, neighborhood you come from. But when you really get to that point and you start, you know who you really are, and you know what it's about, truly, you're not gonna keep moving like that unless there's something that's trying to distract you to knock you out of place. You know what I'm saying? Or help destroy other people's lives by the things you say. Right? So like I said, back to past the past knowledge that some of our people has been going through, right? As far as the slave mentality, and it's still going on. A lot of people think that they are off the ship, or that they're more advanced than other people, determined by the things they receive. You know what I'm saying? And true freedom. They're forgetting that, or they're not concerned about it. Oh man, I have stomach pain like a mother. So, you know, as I'm watching a lot of this conflict going, and a lot of people are aware of certain behaviors and certain avenues that people take just to get the things that they need. And I can't believe, you can't believe to a point that the figure actually getting the most attention. You know? Why? Why is that? Let me explain a little bit. When you understand the spirit that some of us pick up, and some of us, how can I say, you protecting your mindset, you protecting your mental, so you're going to vibe off of your own vibration. You're not going to go according to what everyone else is doing. You know, you come to a point and realize that there's a lot of individuals that form in packs, like I said, based off of their mindset, you know? And everything is on, it's not going to always stay the same because as people get older, they grow, whatever, they separate. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes when people get to a certain age, they keep going into the past, meaning if there's some sort of troubles, if something happened during the, the process, they'll keep bringing that up. You know what I'm saying? It's like children. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's always going to be conflict, no matter what you say. So, um, I want to, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to just screw out shit and make sense. But, see if I can see it. This damn is crazy. So, yeah, day by day, you notice that there's, especially in my hometown, there's a big mess that's taking place. And I think it's for some sort of space or attention. And the space attention is getting to the point where a lot of fools are clinging onto the ship driver. You know what I'm saying? The person steering the ship. And they figure they can go that way and they can get whatever they trinkets, whatever they need. You know what I'm saying? I noticed that it has been going on for a long time. One thing about materialism is it's dangerous. It's a weapon. You know, when a person come up to you and willing to give you things to control you or use you for something, that is a temptation. And if you fell or fall for that temptation, then you want to be out of place later on. And I'm really, really realizing that. You know, they will go for the uneducated, and they will go for the sleeping individual or groups to stir the neighborhood into the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying? Never really letting things go in the order it should, because it's a negative vibration that is staring people into bad situations. Like I said, I consider a majority of my people are as teenagers, because they can't. I mean, when it comes to unity, right, under one creator, it depends on a certain person's mindset or the group mindset of which direction it is leading into. So anyway, there's too many that are not taking things serious. There's too many people that are suffering or being attacked that has those abilities to change things. And it's not hard to see. You can see it happening to, or happen to a lot of famous people, or people that want to see things on a positive note, or want to see the neighborhood get fed, or who want to see the little young minds get stirred in the correct direction. There's always going to be a separation of things. But I think that, if people are paying attention, the fake is being pushed away. they're actually fighting each other if you look at it really good. You hear a lot of people say, well, we need that music back. We need the rightful music back. We tired of this stupid, violent. It's going to be a little bit of violence, but it's to a point where it's too much. If it isn't something violence, it's something involving drugs. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us did that. But we didn't put that to a point where you influencing people. I think it started with this, that's my opinion from my time at that. Damn, what was that song name? Because I got hot thing. When that really started, oh my God, I watched a lot of people started just dipping around, looking dead at that, every day with the continuous drug habit. A lot of that music, of course, it was in the back in the 70s music. Because I'm like, okay, yo, I didn't hear this song. What the hell? So influence is very, very powerful. And if you can starve an individual or something, and like I said, it depends on how strong the person is. Something to mislead them or steer them into a certain direction, they take that shit. Even if it goes against the things that they were saying in the music, a fool won't take that. And they gonna think they powerful. They gonna think they okay, well, I'm in this position now. What you gonna do? You can't stop me. I'm gonna change on the group, or I'm gonna now I'm the leader of this, and it's crazy. It's literally like watching children boast about the things that they get. Yeah. But like I said, there's a lot of good mainstream music. There's some that's just totally disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? And you have these fresh minds these days where it don't matter if they're in their teens or their 20s or just hitting it. They stay themselves in the room like a lot of us used to do back then. Sometimes I did it eventually later on, but where you only listening to as you programming yourself with whatever kind of music that you're listening to, and it's kind of manifesting whatever your thoughts is into the future. And a lot of them not knowing that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's really being taught spiritual stuff in these public schools. And what they do is they tell you, okay, allow me to teach your children, but then when your children is not going in the direction the way they should, they blame the parent. Which the majority of the time it is their fault. Because maybe they went through the same thing and they don't understand what's going on either. There is some children that come in with a belief system that kind of protect them from the stupid shit that happens later. Yeah, every day, it's just about gossiping, getting a podcast or getting a channel, and both trying to create chaos through the neighborhood or that, based off of your ego and confusion, people harming other people for positions and shit. It's very dark out here. Trust me. And if you don't have the ability to see what's going on, you're gonna keep falling into this shit. You know, as far as the music, you do have some warriors. Trust me, I see it and I hear it. But it's too much of the other side. Like you know how they used to make uh, the slaves dance on the ship when they wanted them to exercise or what do you call it? Indoctrinate them with something so they won't be able to see what's taking place in front of them. Damn. And I said on that. So yeah, that's kind of basically what it is to me. I'm noticing. You know, they call it buck dancing and shit. That's what's going on. And it's being dressed up. That's the scary part about it. It's being dressed up like, okay, I got this stuff. I got this new pair of clothes or and this and that. But you don't have it. So I'm going to do something to make you angry so you can do whatever you can to get it yourself. But you're still not free. You can say you're free and all. Or you acting like it. You know? And if they see that you're not really acting like it, and you're willing to give up your freedom, give up your mental freedom to um, stay stuck or whatever, you know, then they're gonna come for that. You know, let's look at Christ. That was attacked for telling the truth, or to give the word of God, and wanting to see people eat, and wanting to see people live and be happy and joyful and this and that. And then the other side want to see you harmed for saying things or changing things in a certain way. You know, the slave, the individual that's doing that is going to be mistreated, lied on, picked on, dressed less, constant problems, and everything above. You know, but the individual that's constantly showboating and constantly yapping about nothing that does not matter or that's not making nobody else's life better, it's going to be conflict. That means something present socially, number one, amongst other things, is trying to mislead you and your whole neighborhood and community and people. You know, I keep hearing a lot of people say a lot of people are a lot of things that's been happening to people that want to see things better are being harmed, and no one's going to have the heart to say anything anymore or do something to change something. There's a lot of people. It's just that they're not putting their head up on the screen or doing things on camera for you to see. You know, like I always say in a lot of my videos, even a child can change something just by the way they say things. Or a woman can say something just by the way she is acting and speaking and have a loving conscience, have concern and care for other people, you know, dress and act right. You just got to see and pay attention to what's really what's really good and not what's bad. You know, there's a lot of people losing their family, based off of some of this shit. You know, um, and they're misleading the women into major disasters by setting up men and doing things to harm them. Um, um, based off of the music. Based off of the music, because um, I didn't pay attention until someone said to me, and it was an elder, and he's kind of like I ain't gonna say famous, but he's a teacher, and he said to me, you're sitting there and you're letting the music, it's going into your head and it's going into your spirit, and you want to develop what you're hearing into your life, and if you're not careful, it can destroy you mentally. You know what I'm saying? And I took that to heart and I actually listened. I paid attention to that. And you know what? I agree with it 100%. Sometimes it takes several things to make a humble person. Okay? And you don't have to go in a certain direction. And another thing that kills me about some of the music, right? Too many people want to be Italian. They want to be like these monsters, right? And the reason is because that's what they seen either on TV or they lived around them, you know. They want to emulate that and think that it's going to give them something in the future, but it's not. It's going to continuously give you bad situations. And then before you find out later on, it's going to be, wasted a whole lifetime of drama. A whole life of drama. You might get the little trinkets and toys and this and that for a while. But that does not mean that shit lasts long. And it kills me because it's like, yo, you African American or whatever you want to call yourself, Israel, Haitian or whatever you want to say. As far as everybody has some people have their nationality and they're aware of it. But why would you want to be a black man and a black woman living like a monster? Why would you want to live like that? Knowing damn well you can't. Okay, the whole planet was once Africa, Asia, whatever. Let's not get into that. Why would you want to live like that? Knowing that's not really you or what your people expressed back then. How would you want to keep going that direction? I used to like a lot of past music that was cultural. People was proud about their culture and heritage and this and that. And they sung it or they lived it or whatever. And but today, man, just look at the music. Listen to it. Listen to it. They made you the way you are. And you still can't find a way after all these people that come up around you in your face to tell you how to be and how you should be conducting yourself in reality, and you ignore them, or you be part of the people that will harm them later. I wasn't going to get on here and say and talk about certain music, songs, or certain people. I'm not going to do that. I don't do that. Number one, that's not my style. You feel what I'm telling you? It's not my style. It's not my direction. And you have people, they be really into people's problems and drama. And they take some of these lyrics as if they're facts or they're truth. You know what I'm saying? Somebody can say, okay, well, I had a beef with you about this and that. You owe me money. You wasn't like this in your neighborhood. And this and that. And you got the young people that some people don't even know you listening to this shit. And what the subject be about all the time? Owing money, violence, death, no caring, a little bit of caring sometimes. What's another subject? Drugs. Of course, the drugs. Hold up. So I had a call. Make sure I'm back on. All right. Yeah, before I got disrupted. You know, it's always those few little subjects that seem to determine a person's personality or determine the social outlook of the music. Not everybody like that. Trust me. You got some cool guys that just got caught up in the street. Some of them changed their life to stay solo, stay to themselves, but they letting people they know they're not playing with you. Or this is what's going on in the world. This is the truth here. These people lying to you. You know what I'm saying? You get those people that I noticed from my hometown that don't get that much of attention. And why is that? It's because of what I just said in the beginning. Feels good out here. So this message is for the men, man. There's many topics and subjects and mindsets and abilities that you can make music about. You don't have to stand with those groups or listen to them people constantly to determine this is what this music is about. You know what I'm saying? You don't see, or here as far as I know, country folks constantly going at it with each other. You don't hear some of these hip hop Japanese or Chinese people argue about shit. You know, why? Because they took a part of the music and they're creating based off of whatever their land's about, whatever their problems are, and etc. Y'all ain't gotta listen to that shit. Nowadays, I might glance at certain conflicts that's taking place, and I voice my opinion a little bit, but I keep pushing. I don't even put a comment because those are some of the things that's going to steer you into a certain direction. I mean, what you expect, you know? Just like the Temptations. Look at the music and the conflict that went on with them because a few people couldn't stick together, or one person was so good, but he knew he had made the group. He couldn't just make music and stay humble, and knew he was the best in the group, right? He went to drugs because of whatever internal problems that he was dealing with. And it messed everybody up. When the whole group was the shit. Let's put it that way. So, and then at that, you see some of the movie depiction of them. They took care of their family. They all got piggy together. At some point, the neighborhood came together. Everybody liked their music, different kinds of people, etc. But when you have certain mindsets, mentalities that people have internally, it can mess up the whole damn group. So what I'm telling you. So, like I'm saying right now, there's a little touch of encouragement, like an uncle. You ain't gotta go that way. Let God steer you wherever you need to go, and be on your own vibration. Be yourself. When you know something ain't right, talk about it. You ain't gotta keep being controlled by some of your own and the oppressors too, because they will use you. And you think you're controlling yourself when you're not. Much love. Peace out.